You know, if Professor Coriolis stays around long enough, I might even turn into a weatherman myself.
Well, he hasn't explained everything quite. There are a lot of things. Battlefronts, for instance.
Battlefronts in weather?
Oh. A group of Scandinavian meteorologists made an amazing discovery toward the end of World War I.
Found a far bigger war right over their heads. A war between giant air armies from the north and from the south.
Called air masses by their Scandinavian discoverers. In the line of their collision, a front. Battlefront, if you like. Worldwide research on the air mass theory, first presented in 1919 in a paper written by Jakob Bjørknes of Norway, spokesman for the group, has revolutionized weather forecasting.
And what happens to weather when these armies march has been pretty well doped out, too.
Let's look at our original map again. Now, that line being added is the weatherman's way of marking a cold front. It's located, like all fronts, mainly through abrupt changes in temperature. And it means that the cold air army is pushing under the warm one.
Here's a cold front and its special brand of weather. Wind squalls, thunderstorms, followed by rapidly clearing skies. Oh, the new line's a warm front. Generally brings long, slow rains, light winds, and skies that may stay overcast for days.
Of course, this is a very simplified version of a real weather map.
Yeah, about like a newspaper weather map. Which, by the way, with a little practice, you can use to make your own predictions.
Hey, maybe we could get jobs at that clinic they were talking about.
Be a breeze, knowing what we know.
Don't kid yourselves, fellas. Compared to the chief forecaster at Suitland, you know from nothing. Doc, give him a rundown on what he has to know and do.
Well, briefly, what the forecaster does after he gets his far more complicated map showing how the weather was a few hours ago is to compare it with a dozen others, maps for the last few days, charts of surface and upper air winds, of pressures at 7 different levels from sea level into the stratosphere. He then evaluates the force of the westerlies and the trades, the position and strength of highs and lows, past movements and present characteristics of fronts and the air masses behind them, and interprets all these things in terms of atmospheric dynamics, the general circulation, cloud physics, turbulence and friction, solar and terrestrial radiation.
And then adds a couple of pinches of intuition and inspiration and comes up with a bulletin on how the weather is going to be the day after tomorrow. Well, you guys still want that job?
Well,
Of course they don't.
yeah, but how often are these forecast guys right?
You do half as well at the track and you'll be a millionaire.
Well, you don't say.
Nowadays, the weatherman's right in 6 out of every 7 forecasts.
How wonderful. It's such a lovely